Actually, that would also be good afternoon and good evening to our absolutely wonderful friends out there in the United States and across the world. It is an absolute pleasure here to be with you this morning. We're going to be talking about debugging. It's a common theme. I wonder why it's a common theme, but it is a common theme because everybody's going to have to do this. And the faster you can get a problem solved, the happier your clients will be with you. Your project manager is going to keep putting you on those tough projects. You're going to ace out the performance reviews. There's being an effective debugger is not going to be something you look back and it's like, oh man, I regret that. Like I regret being a superhero when I'm solving. You just don't do that, right? So this is absolutely critical information. We wrote the book about it. Łukasz is an absolute superhero on our team when it comes to debugging and solving problems. And I am really excited to hear what he's going to say today about this. Now, as we are getting started, again, welcoming you all here, please feel free to drop where you are coming from, where you're watching this video from, here all the way across the world. And I would love to see that. I know Łukasz would as well. I'm going to bring him on here as we're getting this started. And so you can welcome him in here. Hey, Łukasz, good to have you on here, my friend.
Hello, it's finally again together. I'm really happy to see you too. And yeah, and I think I'm ready.
Good. Well, it was funny. So Łukasz came and ended up, we spent about a week and a half together, roughly. Almost, well, if you count Meet Magento New York, it was about 2 weeks together. And it was great hanging out. My kids really enjoyed having a fill-in uncle there for what? That was about a week and a half. And he told us a lot about life in Poland and Polish culture and all that stuff. So we had a wonderful time together. And of course, what happens as a result of that is then, yes, he definitely gets on this. We had a lot of really good conversations, etc. And he's just a wonderful person. So I am excited about that. Also, continuing on, I just got an email this morning, and I wasn't aware of a previous announcement about this, but Adobe is axing 50% of the cost for certification vouchers off in the month of October. So feel free to jump in there and take advantage, like buy up some vouchers. It's never going to hurt to have a couple extra vouchers if you're planning on getting certified, or if you're a partner or agency, whatever, SI, merchant even, to an extent. Like get those vouchers set, 50% off. Just it again, never hurts anybody. You never look back and say, I regret that 50% off my certification voucher cost. Wow, it's wonderful to see you all here. Come on in. India, Brazil. Hey, Roni. Abhalash from the US. Good. London. Excellent. Wonderful. Super excited to have you all here. So I would say without further ado, let's jump in. Łukasz, take it away, my friend.
Okay, so let me try my if all my wheels roll correctly. So let me share my screen, and yeah, it works. Woohoo! I'm super happy to see that. So I can take it from here. So yeah, the reason why we are here today is actually so as I talk, I can use my face a little bit more. As we meet each other today because we've had really great discussion with Joseph about the investigating for some of our clients, and we realized that as we do some ways of doing things, maybe it's good to share with the community. And as Joseph mentioned, spinning wheels is quite a big issue. And spinning wheels actually means that you're working on something, but you work hard, you do your best, but you're still in one place. You cannot move. Like your wheels are spinning in one place, so you are not making any progress. And the problem is that sometimes people think, 1 second. Oh, yeah. sometimes people think that that spinning wheels is actually the issue only for people who are in junior positions. And actually, my slides are not changing. Are changing. Sorry for that. So the whole process of investigation is described by Joseph in his book, The Art of the E-commerce Debugging. I was reviewing it as one of the first people, and back then, what came to my mind was that we have some kind of culture of superheroes, especially on different Slack channels, different tweets, and so on. That people try to play their superheroes. They say like they describe issues like they have no issue, like they have no problems with investigating stuff, but in my opinion, it's not true. They are like these girls on Instagram. They don't show 5 hours of preparing to record 8 minutes video on YouTube, showing how they do some awesome stuff. So when you spin your wheels, please don't be upset about that. There are no superheroes. Even some, they sometimes lose the track when they are investigating, and yeah, and they give up. So you can see that in the background there is like set of tests running, but the superhero, no, he's not there. He gave up. And we are software engineers, which means we are resolving issues that are not always dependent on us. We need to handle human mistakes. And by human mistakes, I don't not only mean other developers, which is the first thing that comes to your mind, but also human mistakes as DevOpses we cooperate with, as business people who changed some setting in admin panel without notice. We also can mention store managers who flashed the cache on Black Friday, so everything go weeds. Also, we need to face ambiguous requirements. Business people come to us saying what they want, but they never tell you what they need. As a result, you end up with ambiguous requirements. You try to satisfy the business person, but not the customer, the final user of the store. And you feel like frustrated with that. So you spin your wheels to find out what actually the author of requirements meant. Another one is environment changes. And environment, I don't only mean the PHP version or MySQL version. That was quite painful experience last month when we had to migrate to PHP 8.1, but also MySQL started to introduce some tricky problems with changing char set, default char set, and you end up with environment change. And for example, your deployments don't pass. Why? You need to investigate. So don't be upset when you run into these kind of issues. It's something completely normal. But what makes you a great developer is not the fact that if you do or not encounter any issues. The thing that makes you good developer or good detective, code detective, is actually approach you undertake. And as we spend some time discussing Polish culture and cuisine, I decided to go with approaches in a cook way. So my personal approach list contains 4 main elements. One is peel the onion, like peeling onion. The second one is chopping peppers. Third is to cook the problem, cook it. And fourth is just to stop and stare. So let's go with the first one. Imagine that it's Monday morning, your first minutes with new week, and you get ticket like this. Configurable products not calculating Canadian pricing. A configurable product is not calculating the price in Canada using Canadian pricing. Price is showing USD price, not the Canadian price, and the URL to the product. The price is not rolling up correctly for any of the configurable products. The same thing is happening for these kit products and the URLs. So yeah, so my first thought is like, okay, that's gonna be a difficult issue. But then I found out that actually, let's do it in a structured way. So what I did first, when you have onion, especially yellow onion, you need to remove that rubbish or like that mess covering it's usually dry. So the same with tickets. Before you start playing with the real ticket, you need to find out if the ticket is right. So that's exactly what I did. I checked the links that client provided and verified, okay, the prices are the same for Canadian store and US store. So yeah, so I eliminated one of the most common issues, like invalid ticket. The second step was actually I can for a moment I can come back here. So the first step was removing that dry part of onion. The second part is actually to verify data source. So I checked what data is passed to the Magento storefront. So I checked the source, like right-click in the browser, view source. I found JSON, which was responsible for pricing for configurable products, for swatches, and I noticed that, okay, yeah, Canadian pricing and US pricing are the same, so there is something wrong. I double-checked the scope used by pricing. So I checked if the currency code is different, and it was. So another element resolved. Like I'm removing the layers of onion in order to make sure that I'm not going deep without checking the most obvious stuff. The next step was actually to reproduce the issue in a local environment. So every single time when you have issue on a remote server, you need to double check if it's maybe some environmental issue. I reproduced it locally. So now I had great opportunity to play with this problem a little bit more. And I checked the places where data is provided, is passed to JSON to the storefront. And I realized that, hey, data from database comes wrong. So what I did, I checked the indexes, price indexes in database. So another layer of the onion is like, okay, we are no longer on the storefront. We are no longer in code because the data in database is wrong. I checked indexes, and next to the issue with tons of data that we actually don't need in that index, so that was my side node. I found out, okay, the indexer works wrong. So now I asked my best friend Xdebug to help me, and I said, okay, Xdebug, let's run our indexer and see what's actually being inserted into database. Saying that, I spent like 20 minutes finding out step by step, breakpoint after breakpoint, if the source data for indexers is correct. And the source data was. So what was wrong? I started to look around. So we are in the core of Onion right now. So I started to just cut this center of Onion after removing all that mess around. And I found out that one of the extensions was actually providing data to indexer, but it was not providing the scope, the valid scope. So everything was saved as American scope without considering the other scopes. Also, during that investigation, I found out that there are some performance modifications that can be made by swapping for each in product feeder of in indexer data feed, which saved us 60% of reindex time, which was like bonus, a little bonus, because I already knew the stack from top to the bottom, so I knew that my change wouldn't break anything. And I reindexed that, and it worked because I knew the stack from the top to the bottom. I knew what step I need to make to make sure that everything works still. So that's that's with the onion, like peeling onion. Another approach I have is chopping peppers. And by chopping peppers, 1 second, of course, I should show you the slide. Yeah, chopping peppers. So the second one is related to no checkout after database synchronization. What a beautiful Monday issue, right? You start on Monday and you find out, oops, no checkout at all. What can we do? Yeah, so after most recent database synchronization, checkout does not display at all. No errors, neither in browser console nor in the logs. Again, we have quite problematic issue, like, no checkout. It's big deal. And usually you expect that either Magento says something in like Magento sees something, say something. Magento have no idea what's going on. So maybe browser, maybe require.js broke something, or I don't know, maybe jQuery doesn't work. Maybe some JavaScript wasn't loaded because, UI components responsible for checkout is kind of big deal, especially when it comes to JavaScript. But not, everything is clean. So what can we do? I started with finding out where the issue is. So again, chopping peppers, because we get the pepper, we get the tail, we get the another end of pepper. And what I did, I verified in the middle, because we had the Friday state of checkout, which is having the Magento upgraded, and Monday state, which is a situation where we synchronize databases. So I chopped it in half, and I verified if even in the halfway between one and another, if it works, because I knew that on Friday it worked, on Monday it didn't. So yeah, let's check what happened Friday evening at the end of the day. And there was a Magento 245 upgrade from 244. I checked that. Okay, it doesn't work. So we eliminated half of the way. We know that it's nothing that happened on a Monday. It's something that happens on Friday, actually. So I checked one commit back. So here. So we have Friday morning, like Friday afternoon, and all that stuff that was going on. So I cut it a little bit, like a little bit shorter, to see what happened in the meantime. And just one commit before 245 upgrade, it worked. So I eliminated all the factors, like all the customizations, module removals in the meantime. I was sure that the problem appeared exactly with Magento 2.4.5 upgrade. But in the tickets, it does not say anything about Magento upgrade it says about the database synchronization. So did I mention to you at the very beginning that sometimes tickets or requirements are not clear, or maybe some assumptions are wrong? So I feel like, I personally feel I should verify that. It must be clear where the issue is. So what I've done, I got database from production, I got database from dev environment. Production, there works checkout, like the checkout works, dev, it doesn't. And I imported that locally for both of the cases, verifying if, so again, I'm chopping the pepper into in order to find out if it's issue with Magento upgrade, or maybe it's issue with database. Maybe some coincidence, some configuration setting is causing that. So yeah, I verified that, and production, both on production and dev database, checkout works before Magento 2.4.5 upgrade, and it doesn't after 2.4.5 upgrade. So what I've done, I started to chop even further. So we chopped our project. I started to chop Magento. I started to chop Magento div between versions 2.4.4 P1 and 2.4.5, and I started to split the whole upgrade into elements that I'm interested in and not. So I eliminated all the stuff that is, like, in my opinion, was not related to checkout, and then also, in my opinion, backwards incompatible changes to checkout, to UI components, and I found it, like, by splitting, eventually splitting all the process of investigation to single files in GitHub, in Magento GitHub repository. I found a group of files that could make it, and I found layout handle that changed, and we actually were relying on it. So that's the second way you can resolve issue. Some of you listening to me might think like, hey, but chopping peppers is something I know, and I know it as git bisect, however you call it. Git bisect is actually exactly what I've done. Git bisect is a way to provide provide to Git command where you've seen the environment working correctly last time, so that's the good commit, and then where you've seen it's broken for the first time. And with git bisect, you're able to actually tell to let GitHub handle the whole strategy for you. Because if you say this is good, so you are seeing me, it's my left, so you're right. Okay, so that's here it starts. So when we say to git command that, hey, here it worked, here it's not, then git is splitting that in half for you, saying, okay, we are here. Tell me, does it work or not? And you say, no, not really. Okay, so the issue must be earlier. So here, does it work or not? Yeah, it works. So maybe here works. Okay, so here, and it moves to you, like with the position on the tree, on the Git tree, to place where you can eliminate like 70% of investigation just by hopping half and half and half to find the reason in a halfway. I should have this really nice tool to maintain whether you see my screen or my face. 3, cook it. That's my favorite one. I like to cook the stuff, especially when it comes to programming. Why? Because sometimes you get ticket like this: cart rule available only for partners. SwiftOtter cooperates with different agencies, their employees should be able to benefit from partner discounts. Acceptance criteria. 1. Store owner is able to define domains eligible to use discounts. Discounts are applied only when a valid coupon code matches the partner's domain. 3. The store owner is able to generate reports about transactions for a specific discount code. So again, what you should do, or actually what I do, and I'd like you to do, is not starting from implementation. You can always do the implementation. There's always time for implementation. There's, I don't know, I heard that in Polish agency, but it might be international. So minutes of, sorry, I almost spoiled it. So hours of implementation can save you minutes of planning. So here, yes, let's do it the other way. Let's save hours of development by planning that. Few minutes. What I recommend by cooking it, let's cook the issue. So let's prepare the integration test. And I've had Canva issues yesterday, so I didn't provide you the screenshot. But what we do, 1 second, I'm trying to think if there's a way to show you the example. I will talk to Joseph if we can just provide the gist, GitHub gist to as a description to this episode on YouTube, because oh yeah, I have quick answer. So we will provide you gist to this part and to the next one, and it's about showing you the example. What we've done in scope of this specific ticket, the ticket about cart rules, how we came to the idea that, okay, let's prepare the sandbox first. And we covered the full happy flow with integration test first. Of course, it was failing. Like, it was failing out of the box because there was no way to verify domains. So our integration tests were failing on the step that, hey, someone with invalid domain shouldn't be able to use that, shouldn't be able to use the coupon code. But we cooked the whole pan of veggies, and now we had to find the great ingredient. So we cooked the integration test, we cooked the full scenario. We had scenario with only a person with a valid domain and valid coupon code should get the discount, but there was also integration test that person with valid coupon code but invalid domain shouldn't get the discount. And third one, person with valid domain but with invalid coupon code shouldn't get the discount. And fourth one, person without discount code but with the valid domain shouldn't get the discount. And with having these integration tests, what we've done, we just started to pull the jars with the ingredients and try to put them in. The main benefit of cooking stuff, in a way, is that you can make a snapshot of this pan full of veggies, and then build several different versions. So you can get one solution, the second solution, the third solution, but all of these are covered with the same integration test. So you can prepare multiple solutions for the issue, and multiple solutions for the issue, for the task, and then ask your supervisor, your tech lead or architect, hey, I have 3 solutions, all the 3 do what we need to, but these 3 are different. This one is more performant, this one is nicer, this is one, like the one that is easy to maintain. Which one we would like to go? And yeah, you win here, because you don't waste your time to actually implement, then actually test it all manually and get with another approach, and again testing it from the scratch. The tests are already there. I know that we are short of time, so quickly the third one, stop and stare. When integration tests are my favorite, here I recently found that specific approach really time saver. Long story short, we have clients who wanted integration with the payment gateway, and when you work with payment gateways, you end up with the certification procedure. So again, the payment gateway expects you to investigate, or actually to troubleshoot your payment gateway module. And they provide you the whole, that very long spreadsheet full of painful scenarios, full of different use cases, extreme cases, and so on. And every single time when you change the version of your module, of your payment gateway module, they expected you to recertify that. So fill the whole spreadsheet again and again and again. And you can't do it with integration tests because due to the PCI compliance, some parts of the payment gateway are iframe. So no longer integration tests can play their role. You need to find something else. And we found it. We found the way to actually first cover end-to-end test, with Cypress tests, which is executed in browser. With iframes, you can disable one of the security settings in Chrome, and then by Cypress, so it does not require any system changes. And then you execute end-to-end tests, including the one for certification. So what we finally did was actually to prepare like 60 different scenarios. As you can see on the screen, I just inserted 4 of them. It's like authorization of this card with that CVV, and it should result in this or that. And every single time when we changed something, we not only got paid for sitting next to the computer and watching the tests like a good movie, but we also got really nice and detailed information where the issue is, because we covered the most important parts. So we hired the right employee to do the job, which is Cypress, and then we just sit and stare and watch what's happening. Why I'm mentioning that in the scope of stop spinning your wheels? Because it's very, very common, especially for me, like at least for me, it's very common that I spin my wheels not on implementation, not on resolving issue, but actually on testing, because some testing procedure is so long, so annoying that, you know, I burn inside, like I feel fire inside me, like why I need to do it again and again and again? Why can't I pass it to the QA engineer? But in the end, I write automated test, which like takes 30 minutes. Also, we will provide you the example of Happy Flow for Magento in the second gist. It's almost the same like the ones that El Hentos from Netherlands provide for Cypress. But the point is 30 minutes of writing tests, and you no longer feel the pain of testing it manually. You no longer burn yourself by doing stuff you shouldn't do. And that makes you stop spinning the wheels, because instead of testing something manually for 20 minutes, you test it for 2 minutes, and you have more time to actually unspin your wheels. Imagine that you change something 4 times a day. Every single time you test it for 20 minutes. So we end up with 80 minutes of testing. So it's 80 minutes less for resolving spinning your wheels. And here, It's completely different. You have 80 minutes saved, 80 minutes more to resolve the issue, 80 minutes less frustration. That's why I mentioned it in the scope of unspinning your wheels. And these 4 are the strategies I personally recommend. Now it's your time to share your questions.
Wow. Łukasz, that was excellent. I loved your cooking example. And that was well-timed, well-placed, etc. So that was very good work on that. I don't know if you want to share your face on the screen again.
Yes, I do.
Okay,
I do.
there we go.
I'm
Nice.
back.
Nice. Very good. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I liked the example unspinning your wheels. Unfortunately, that's a problem that we as developers have regularly, and those tricks and that you shared. And I think in my opinion, more importantly, the stories that you also shared were hopefully inspirational. They were certainly to me. Again, as we've talked over the past couple of weeks, I have personally watched you fight through some of these issues, and I completely agree that a superhero is, they get their moment of fame, but more importantly, it's the hours and hours of effort that have led into that, which make them the superhero that they are. So, thank you for sharing that. Is there any questions that anybody has?
I see
If
that we
not,
have YouTube, we have in LinkedIn, and we have the third one. I'm not sure what is it. So one
Facebook
question
and I think
from
Twitter.
LinkedIn. Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes. Go ahead.
So one question from YouTube. Guys, I count on you. Or maybe you can share your story. I can see on the sidebar your comments. So whether you use YouTube, LinkedIn, or Twitter, please share your story or your questions.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, that my challenge is the practice test questions. I was actually spending a little time thinking while you were talking there about those questions. And in it's kind of like debugging, but in a separate way. We have to have a question that's good. And this one will be a hopefully a good question this week. Oh, good. Swift Otter beverage holder. Good, nice. That's awesome. That is good.
Okay, if there is no question at the moment, we can always answer you on the Swift Otters Slack. You can also share the story. Maybe that would be inspirational for others. Or maybe if you've seen some Insta girl taking pictures for 4 hours of single dish instead of eating, you can also share, because it's actually the anecdote of our work. We go with some contribution to Magento, but it's like 20 hours of spent in PHP Storm.
I was gonna put your Twitter up here. I forgot. I should have done that earlier. If you can Slack that over to me, so then we can make sure. Are you on Twitter, Łukasz?
Right now?
Well, just in general, so people know how to reach out to you.
Yeah. It's just like the first name, Bajsarowicz. Actually, I use that nickname everywhere. It's
Okay.
Bajsarowicz. It's
There we go.
I always laugh that it's some kind of Spanish Mexican way of pronouncing because of L at the beginning. So Bajsarowicz.
Go. Got it. I'm pulling this up. I'm going to drop it in here. Is it .md on? Oh yeah, it is. Okay, I got it.
Oh
okay.
yeah, MD.
You put a markdown in there.
Yes, it's the movement in Magento community.
All right, this up there. Make sure you follow. Oh wow, that's fancy. The ticker. I don't know if I like that, but make sure you follow Łukasz on Twitter. He has good thoughts he throws out there, and definitely opinionated. So it's good to have opinionated developers out there, and because ultimately it's those people who are willing to share their opinions are the ones that take this community forward. So with all of that, thank you for joining. Thank you for participating in this. It was an absolute pleasure having you here. And it was also a pleasure to be able to hear Łukasz share his thoughts. I like his, I don't know, maybe Polish culture has more colorful expressions than US. I don't know what it is, but like I always enjoy hearing those expressions of I don't know. It's fun to hear that. So, thank you, Łukasz, for the time invested in this, being able to pull this off. The good news is a lot of the content came from your recent bug fights, if you will, which of course you came out the victor. And so that always helps and made it very practical, very inspirational. So, thank you for coming on, Łukasz. I appreciate your leadership here. And for those of you that are watching, make sure you follow Łukasz and look forward to another Ninja series next month.
Okay, thank you very much, and have a nice week. Yeah, because it's Wednesday. Oh, hump day.
Yes. Oh, we do have a question. We'll throw this up here real quick, and then we'll sign off here. Oh yeah, good question. Nice, I like it.
Okay, so actually we can quickly answer that. I think it's good question. So the question is about the issue that was already open in GitHub, but it's not merged in the release yet. It might be in some time soon, but it's not yet. So in this specific case, we also have such situations like, 244 came so buggy, like 243 and 244 so came so buggy that we at SwiftOtter, we implemented some composer patches to resolve that issues, especially with integration tests. Like integration tests couldn't pass because of, I think it was some issue with char sets, with characters. In order to resolve that, we had to apply composer patch, and that's our recommendation to implement composer patch. And it works the way, actually, if you Google Magento composer patch, you will find the whole nice documentation how to use third-party module to implement composer patches for Magento issues. And there are two benefits of it. One, when Magento eventually resolves the issue and releases the fix, the composer patch will fail. So you will know that, okay, the fix is already there, so I don't need to patch it anymore. The second one is that you can easily bring some of the pull requests from Magento, and when you have this URL of pull request, so it's github.com magento/magento2/pull/ and the number. You need to add just .div at the end, and you have another composer patch. So someone resolved the issue, you can apply it, and when it gets finally applied to the to Magento release, it's going to fail. So you'll know that, okay, now I can remove my composer patch. Yeah, so I think that answers your question.
And we have another question. I'm guessing there's a bit of a delay, ultimately. So here's another one, Łukasz.
Yeah, so the second one is about recommendations to learn the tests on Magento 2, and besides the official documentation. Actually, that's quite funny because it's following me for a long time, especially since I work with SwiftOtter. It's a great place to record videos, as you can see, to share the knowledge with the real life examples. The point is that there is almost no good documentation when it comes to integration tests or even tests in Magento. However, how you can approach that? First step is to play with TDD wizard, which is actually the tool. It's not a course. It's a tool that helps you to build fixtures in Magento. So you can look for. Actually, I'm going to send it in PM to Joseph. Joseph is going to put some nicey fancy moving letters on the screen. So 1 second. Okay, so actually the handle is TDD Wizard, so like test-driven development wizard, and he has Magento 2 fixtures. It's place where you should start with, like, playing with building integration tests. When you enter this URL, you will find out there is a way to, for example, mock the customer in one line. How simple is that? You like no longer data fixtures with this add something without all that overhead that Magento has out of the box. You can build the customer, you can build the checkout, you can build the quote, and then with just one call, execute place order. And you can wrap it with some assumptions, and voila, test done. The gist we are going to provide you after this video is published will also show you how we use TDD wizard to get through the checkout. So you're gonna see how we use that, and maybe that will be a great first step for you. Other than that, I hope that one day we will have enough time with Joseph to cover like short TV series with Wizardish.
I will say, yeah, really good thoughts. And Łukasz, I had not heard of that TDD wizard. That's super impressive. That could literally change the game for some of that stuff, because building out those fixtures can be a real pain. I was just talking, we are in the process of building out Master Architect curriculum. And I'll say right here and now, that is a challenge probably unlike anything else we've ever undertaken, as far as the difficulty of that and just really communicating what it takes in order to pass the test. Plus, not to mention the test only has an 84% score needed to pass the test. So it's not only difficult, but it's that. And we were actually talking about this with the possibility of creating some mini courses as a result that kind of build up to some of those the knowledge necessary. One of those being testing, just because I think it's important. And Łukasz, you'll definitely be a knowledge provider on that concept as well, because you've done a lot of work there. So that's not guaranteed, but we have been spending a lot of time thinking through what does it take to get somebody to pass that test. And so yes, integration, all the testing deets are going to be have to be covered in that. So good thoughts, and thank you for that. That is a game changer, that TDD wizard. Got another question here. Like all the questions, like someone broke the ice. Let's see who did that. Abalash, yeah, great. Abalash broke the ice. Nice. So let's come up with another. Or what about your answer on this here?
Okay, so that's good question. I think it's good question, because when you run cron jobs, you usually run into the issue related to like the whole set of cron jobs being executed, and that's not the best way. I mean, if you want to debug specific task, you want to execute just the one task without building an overhead on top of it. So here, N98 mage run comes to play, because Magento, out of the box, Magento allows you to just run bin Magento cron run. Optionally, you can provide a group name, but it still runs the whole group. And if you run bin Magento cron run, under the hood, if you take a look at the source code of cron execution, it executes multiple processes. So executing the cron jobs actually with Xdebug executes like 6 sessions at the same time. Which one is the one I'm interested in? Like, no way. Oh, thank you, Abhilash, for link. Yes, that's exactly mage run. And it has command sys cron run. If you don't provide an argument, it displays the whole list of cron jobs that are registered with Magento. You can choose the one, execute, and it executes this only one cron job. And it does not rely on the cron schedule table, which means that you don't need to wait for the right time. You don't need to wait 15 minutes, 20 minutes, hour, or 6 hours to find out, to make it execute. It executes now by the code or by the dropdown. This way, you can execute your cron job as many times as you like, and when you trigger that with xdebug enabled in your console, it also executes this one task, which makes it much easier to investigate. And I think it's really good question because it's a very, very common issue.
Absolutely. And that honestly is probably a good topic for further conversation here in the future. We might just have nailed on another ninja training topic. That's good. That's good. Hey, Marcel, good to have you on here too. So anyways, fantastic. I think we're going to wrap it up now. Yep, it's 50 minutes in this time. So excellent. Thank you for doing this, Łukasz. I'm really grateful for your insight here. You did a fantastic job as always. And so thank you for helping us out here and sharing your knowledge. That was great. So anyways, we'll wrap it up for the second time here. And thank you for coming on, Łukasz, and we'll talk later.
Yeah, talk to you later. And enjoy your day. Hump day.
Yes.